Welcome to Subramani. I'm going to talk to you about some of the ways in which people lose money and which people don't even think that they are losing money. They may not even realize that they are losing money. So, some of this is behavioral and some of this has been captured by behavioral finance, and we know that we can give it a name and talk about it. So, the first is the fear of what will happen, the fear of rejection. The fear of rejection stops people from talking to even their spouse and children about bad financial habits. This is an extreme, and the most common thing which you can see is not asking the boss for a raise. People are afraid that if I ask the boss for a raise, he may sack me. He may say, oh, younger people are available, they are more efficient, they are better. And the fear of the unknown of saying I will not ask for a raise makes you maybe for 2 years or 3 years you work without asking for a raise, or you don't get a raise which is adequate. You have lost out money. So people will do that. They will maybe you can get a 25,000 rupee raise, right, per month. People will not ask for that raise, but they will go and bargain with the sabzi wala for 100 bucks or 200 bucks. Or I mean, recently during Diwali, I saw people coming and bargaining with those people making small toran and garlands and saying, oh, 60 rupees is too much, give it to me for 50 or give it to me for 40. So 5 bucks and 10 bucks people argue, but the big 25,000 rupees per month which they could have got, people don't argue about that. So start giving up on the small things. Doesn't matter if you give an extra 10 rupee tip or a 20 rupee tip. It does not really matter. That is not changing your life. What is changing your life is your avoidance of asking or confronting your spouse and children, saying, look, we can't afford this. Don't buy these kind of stuff on a repetitive basis. Once in a while, if you make a purchase which is maybe a mistake, that's still okay. But regularly, if you have upgraded certain things and that is hurting you, you have to talk to your family about this. This behavioral finance, I think, calls it avoidance. You avoid those things which you are afraid to talk about and say, oh my God, I will not talk about this because I'm scared to talk about it. Of course, you don't tell yourself that you're scared to talk about it, but the truth is you're scared to talk about it. So what you're doing is a classic case of avoidance. I'll not talk about it. I'll put my head in the sand and hope that it goes away. It doesn't go away. Your boss is not going to come and say, here is a raise. Then you should have the guts to walk out and take up a better job. You're getting 12 lakhs here. You should be willing to walk out and look for a 15 lakh, 16 lakh rupee job. Maybe that's what you deserve. So go out, attend interviews, get rejected. It is still okay. And then see what happens, right? So somewhere there is a 16 lakh rupee job waiting for you and you're not taking it. So look at those big things rather than looking at the small things. So this is one amazing way of people losing money, right? Second is comparing yourself to the Jonases, right? So when you're what you call seeing what your neighbor has bought, so your brand new car looks bad because he's bought a better car, right? Some of these things. So I keep saying, as long as your neighbor is not Arvind Kejriwal, then looking up to your neighbor and seeing what they are doing maybe still okay. But if he spent 55 crores on getting his house done, you're in big trouble if you're going to look up to him and say, okay, I have to match the lifestyle of Arvind Kejriwal. It's very difficult. So keeping up with the Jonases is difficult, and it is very stressful. That is even worse, because you're constantly comparing and you're saying, oh my God, I'm not so good, I'm not so efficient, that guy is better. In most cases, we do not know the full story. It may be your neighbor, maybe your neighbor is son of a very rich man, or a neighbor's wife is the son of a daughter of a very rich man, right? So we don't know what is happening. If suppose your parents have provided enough for you, let's say right up to your retirement, then whatever you earn, you can spend. But that may not be true for somebody else who has to send money home, look after his children's education, look after his younger siblings' education, maybe a widowed aunt or uncle who is unable to earn. Maybe he's supporting or she's supporting those people. So obviously their lifestyle will be different. So when you're comparing, you are not comparing likes to likes. You do not know the full history of the other person, and therefore comparison is one thing which makes you lose money, and you don't even know you're losing money because of comparison. So comparison is bad. The another big thing is being afraid to invest, especially those people who have lost money in the markets or whose parents have been wiped out in say 1992 or something like that, right? So so they say, oh, my grandfather lost a lot of money during Harshad Mehta scam or during Ketan Parikh scam, or my father lost a lot of money, therefore I will not invest, which means this person does not invest, keeps the money in the bank and thinks that he is not taking any risk, but he is taking the risk of inflation. Similarly, people who don't understand risk, right? For example, they go and put money in 9.5% bonds and 10% bonds, saying, oh, bonds are safer than equity. I think it's the stupidest statement that you make. Bonds are safer than equity after other risks have been eliminated. So a Tata Motors equity share may be more risky than a Tata Motors bond, but a Tata Motor equity share is definitely less risky compared to so many bonds in the market which may not see the light of day during redemption. There are builders bonds, there are some BFSI companies who have some of the shittiest paper that they can put out at 9.5%, at 10%, 10.15. So these are people who think, oh, bonds are safer than equity, therefore I will put money. Here again, a terrible way to lose money, and I was speaking to somebody like that last week. So it's not that such people have ceased to exist, because there are so many videos, so many blogs, so many articles, so many people saying don't take risk in debt. I can't see any reason why you should be taking risk in debt. Keep it in a State Bank of India FD kind of a product, or an ultra short bond fund if you want to postpone tax by 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. But take your risk in equity. Why do you want to take risk in debt? But better said than done. But people do it, right? People do it all the time. Another way people lose money is if you were not privileged enough to get full education. I mean, I did not have to earn money while I was working. My daughter did not have to earn money while she was working, so she got a full-fledged education. There are many people who have had to cut down their education at 10th standard or 12th standard, or maybe at graduation. Look, if you have developed enough money now, or if you have enough confidence now, maybe your wife is earning and you can go back to school. Go back. If you're 30 years of age, it's much better to go and get yourself an MBA. I recently learned about a person who went to IIM Kolkata, liked the degree, got a job, went abroad, and then again did an MBA, I think Wharton or something, I'm not very sure, right? So adding to your skills, whether it's like an MBA or a 6-month course or a 4-month course or whatever it is, if it adds to your skills and you're not doing it, you're definitely losing money, right? Another thing which I find is not assigning an hourly rate or a daily rate for the efforts that you put. So many such people don't know how much they should be charging. So they go and bargain, right? So if you're going to bargain with somebody for a rate which is much less than what you are getting paid by your employer, you're actually wasting time. Right? So when your employer is paying you whatever the salary, maybe you're earning 90,000 a month, and you want to divide it by 30, that means you're earning 3,000 rupees a day, which is about 250 rupees an hour, right? If you're working 8 hours, that's about 250 rupees, right? 250 rupees would be 2,000 rupees, so 3,000 rupees would be a little more than that, but typically divided by 8 or maybe divided by 10 hours, so about 300 rupees an hour. So you're earning maybe about, if you're earning 300 rupees an hour, is it worthwhile going and spending 1 hour discussing about rates and things like that? Answer is no. Right? So understand what you're doing, understand how you're destroying value, how you're losing money. It's not worth it. So go check your rate and outsource everything for which the rate is lesser than that, and see what you can do as a side gig to earn more than that, right? So obviously then it is worthwhile outsourcing washing clothes, cooking, etc., because if that can put extra time in your hand and you can go and earn 500 rupees on a side gig, it is worth doing, because you're going to outsource this work at maybe $100 and you're going to earn 500 rupees. The more and more you do such side gigs, you will realize that you now have the comfort of saying, I don't need the full-time job. So you don't need a full-time job where you are getting 300 rupees an hour to an outsourced work where you're getting 600 rupees an hour or 700 rupees an hour, and which means you need to work just half, or you need to build your business, and you are still going to outsource all the work which is mundane, which you don't like to do, which you can't enjoy. So you're going to outsource all that. You're going to pay somebody definitely much less than 500 rupees an hour, because that is what you're capable of earning outside. And once you know that it is 500 rupees an hour that you're targeting, whichever work comes your way, even if you don't like to do, just quote 600, 650, 700 per hour. If you get it, still do it, right? Because it is putting money on your table. That's important. It's easy to say quit your job and follow your passion. Makes no sense. Don't quit your job, don't follow your passion. Do it as a side gig. If it takes off, then quit your job. Thank you.